This is Lindsay at DesignerCon with Nerd News Social. I'm here with Inga of Absurdery. Thanks for meeting with us today.
Thank you for having me.
How has the con been treating you so far?
It's been pretty good. I've seen a lot of people that I recognize from years past, which is cool.
Wow. So how many years has this been of DesignerCon for you?
I think this is year 5 for me.
Is that all of the DesignerCon years?
I don't think so. I think there were a few before I started, but yeah, it's been a few years.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So tell us a bit about your brand, where the name came from, and the types of things that come out of your brand.
Okay. Well, my brand, I guess, as you can see, is just like a little bit creepy, a little cute. In my mind, there's like this alternate reality where these things could be possible, like living out in nature, you know, making mischief, doing their little daily routines, eating stuff or whatever. So there's a little narrative I have going on about like what they would be like if they were real. So I like to think about that. I like to hang on to like the magic of youth where anything could be possible. And then Absurdery is just kind of like my thought of how, you know, it's just the act of silliness, of being like crazy or illogical, and just like really fully taking that on and embracing it.
Wow, it sounds like you have stories between each character, basically.
I do, yes. I've written a few down, like little tiny paragraphs about some of them that I just kind of keep to myself. But maybe one day I'll bring them out and show them.
Can you share with us a little bit about this character right here?
This is Oleander. He has a balloon, and he's a little perturbed by it, but also quite mystified by how cool it is. So he's kind of like got this kind of worried look in his eye, but he's kind of cool with his balloon. So I don't know. He just seems like he would have found it maybe somewhere and gotten a hold of it, and then he's going around like, hey guys, I have this thing attached to my arm. What's going on? Yeah, it's cool. It's floating.
So I know you've been working on this piece a few years. You have other things that you like to do. Is it okay if I mention that you do roller derby?
It is okay, yes. I skate with Winetown Rollers in Temecula.
Represent.
Yes. I'm a blocker. Yeah.
So you have a lot of other things that you partake in, and so this obviously is a huge piece. It would take anyone a long time. Yeah. Can you tell us a bit about the process of working on this piece versus some of your smaller pieces?
Absolutely. This is a one-off original piece, meaning there will never be anyone like it. It won't be reproduced ever. And I start by making an armature, and then build layers of epoxy clay on top of that. Once I get it the way I want it, I do layers of primer and paint to get the effect, you know, of being a little bit aged, like gone through a little bit of life. And then, at some point I look at it and I'm like, oh, that's done. Whereas these little guys are my original pieces sculpted, and then I mold and cast them in resin. Mm-hmm. And after that, this process is pretty similar. I hand paint each one of them, so they're all a little bit unique despite having the same, you know, core piece.
I mean, I'm just in awe looking at all of them. They're beautiful eyes, and the characteristics are phenomenal. Can you tell us about what it means to have these big eyes, and there's definitely a consistency across with the way they are painted. Is there something meaningful in the way they're painted that way?
There is. As far as the eyes, I'm an introvert, and I like to observe a lot. Usually I like to stand back and watch, and I feel like that kind of, I've always been like that ever since I was a kid, and I feel like that's kind of why the eyes are big, just to be able to take in everything that's going on, you know, in life, and just kind of hang back and just, you know, take it all in. And, you know, as far as the painting style, I like them to appear like they've kind of been through something. And I feel like really deep down, it's like my little take on the process of growing up and like coming out of childhood, where everything's like so mystical. Like it's all like rooted in childhood, right? Everything is rooted in childhood. Okay. But like to have been maybe even forgotten a little bit, to have been cast aside, but it's something, like I said, the magic of childhood, like to really hold on to it. So I try to keep them like alive, and so they have that weathered look but they're still there if you can like remember that they're there.
That is absolutely beautiful. I see you have definitely figures, sculpts, magnets. Are you thinking of maybe writing stories, or is there anything else coming that you would like to tell us to look out for?
I would love to. I have a couple little tiny stories, and I do write little poems sometimes that pop into my head that I've kept to myself so far, but it is something that I'd like to do and possibly illustrate or have photographs of different characters that have inspired those stories. Yeah.
Speaking of illustration and process, do you, when you come up with, after you write a bit about characters and things like that, do you go straight into sculpting, or do you start with some thumbnails?
I have a sketchbook, so I usually have them sketched, unless it's something that I can really tackle right away. They usually just kind of marinate in my mind for a while, and then I'll go back and look at the sketches that I've done, and I'll make little notes on kind of what feeling I want to get from them, or if I really want to exaggerate one part or the other. And when I just feel ready to sculpt it, I'll start.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you were even working on a piece right before I walked up here.
Yes.
Can you tell us about, you also have furry, fuzzy, adorable creatures as well.
Yes. I have these guys whose faces are getting glued on right now. Yes, I love furry things. And I have a dog who has like a crazy terrier hairdo, and so I get inspired by looking at his head. Look at his crazy hair. But I love fur. I have in the past worked with plush and made little plush monsters and stuff too. So yeah, I'm very inspired by texture and what that, the fur and the different fabrics bring to that.
Yeah, I definitely admire your painting technique, the way that like exactly how you said, it feels like they've been there a while and they've been through something.
Yeah.
The way they're painted, the texture means a lot, and it goes a long way with these pieces, and now knowing more about them,
yes,
it's crazy.
And with this guy, I never sand him down. I always like my little thumbnail marks to be in there, or just where my fingers have been touching the pieces. It comes through in the paint, and it makes it really interesting after a couple washes where you start really seeing the texture. It is really important to me.
So you actually just finished this guy or gal yesterday.
Yes,
is there anything that you have done specifically for this convention, exclusives or anything people can find?
Did I? I don't think so. I have a couple just different colorways. I always bring a different colorway. I try not to do the same thing too often, so that number one, I get bored by it. And number two, it's nice to have fresh colors, even if it's the same. Like all these guys, each one of them is painted a different color. And then, different patterns sometimes. Like these guys, I gave little circles around their eyes.
Yes.
To make it a little different, each time that I come.
And where can people find you, either on the internet or next convention?
I am on Instagram at Absurdery, and I have a website as well, absurdery.com. I think that takes you to my Etsy store, which is empty right now, so don't go right now. But I will also be, did you ask me where I will be next? Sorry.
Yeah, what conventions people can find you?
I will be at Monsterpalooza.
Awesome.
In April, or May, I believe, this year, yeah.
Is there anything else you want to leave people with? Any thoughts or things that you want to share?
I don't know. I really like talking to people when they come by, so please feel free, if you see me, to stop by and say hi and chat a little bit.
Oh, awesome. Well, I'm glad to have this conversation. I look forward to seeing you at Monsterpalooza.
Yes, absolutely.
And thank you, everyone. This is Lindsay at Nerd News Social. Thank you, Inga.
Thank you.